All right. Good morning. Um, just here with educators drinking coffee. Give me 1 second while I finish getting. All right. I'm sorry. I apologize. Make sure. Trying to make sure I get this. Okay. Sorry. Just got this set up now. All right. So now I'm going live publicly. So thank you again for joining me for educators drinking coffee. I'm Juan, calling you. It's Tuesday morning. It's June 9th. Incredible. June 9th. And today, I think you just have it really open to any kind of topic of discussion. So any of you that are out there, please, give me a topic. We'll gladly discuss it. I just want to go ahead and talk about today. This coffee is actually called, Don Francisco's coffee. It's 100% Colombian, medium roast. It comes from the coffee growers of Colombia, but it's actually, I found out it's actually Don Francisco was a Cuban exile, um, and he started making coffee back in Cuba with his family farm, but then eventually got exiled out of Cuba to Spain, and then towards the latter part of his life ended up in Los Angeles and had his coffee farm there. So I never know how to pronounce this Arabica. It's kind of 100% Arabica. It is actually pretty good. This coffee, I have to say, it is. I don't know if fruity is the taste, but I definitely it has more of a fruity aroma, and it's quite good. So props to my loan sponsor. You know who you are. I appreciate it. Um, I I really do enjoy it. I have tons of it, so I'll be drinking a lot of that in the very near future. But my sponsor also gave me different kinds of coffee, so oh man, it's not that strong. It just went down the wrong the wrong pipe. All right, so today I want to talk a little bit about talking about inequities, inequities in our students, especially, and I'm still going to stick to remote learning. Reflecting on maybe what some people or some of your districts did to try to fight the inequity with some of our students. I know here in Elizabeth City or Pasquotank County, connecting to the internet was a big issue. This is all they call them finger county, so it's a very long county. A lot of rural areas where just connectivity is not very good. Even some of our teachers had the same issue, trying to provide instruction with very limited connectivity. Hola madre. So it's like, how do you fix that? I know legislation here in North Carolina, I think, has provided additional funding to help school systems combat that. And I think some school districts did hotspots, and I think with some of their buses, and that's good. But I think go back to sometimes, before we went on this pandemic, gas prices were fairly high, and they've been higher. And with some folks, having issues with even just gas to get to a hotspot would be an issue. Just trying to think about that. I know some places, and I think we need to do this moving forward, is create partnerships with local businesses and small businesses to assist with getting those hotspots, maybe even closer than some of these school buses. But again, in rural areas, You may not have the ability to have, like a convenience store or just any kind of business nearby um, for students and parents to maybe drive up to and park in the parking lot and get internet. Even then, it might still be limited. So, how do you combat that? Um, I don't want to say it's easier, but I would think in more urban areas, you have more businesses, more commercial type businesses, and I guess you could feed off of those hotspots and more availability. We do have certain parts here where I'm at, Elizabeth City, where it's a little bit more urban, and I think that part can be done and probably to a better degree. But when you get out in the country, it's just tough. Um, it's tough to meet the needs of those students. The other thing is device. Now we pretty much have enough for one-to-one device here at school. So we're fortunate with that. So we can tackle that aspect of it. But again, you have the device, but if you don't have access to internet, that's a whole nother issue. And how much internet? Because if you're talking about one child, then you could work on limited internet, certain gigabytes. But if you are talking to family of 2, 3, 4, and sometimes the parents themselves are needing internet access. Like at my house, both me and my wife need it, so we have 2 kids, so it's 4 people running internet at the same time, including my mother-in-law. We have internet TV, and if she wanted to just catch a show mid-morning, it's a lot of stuff streaming at the same time, so it slows things down. So we just got to look and try to figure out ways to do that. I know we've begun our recovery plan here, trying to figure out what are the roadblocks that we have moving forward when it comes to virtual learning. We have to identify those things. So yeah, I mean, if any of you that maybe not seen it live but catch this later on, shoot a comment. It always appears on my thread, and I'd be interested to know. The other thing, I guess, really to think about, or that I wanted to just kind of talk about was, the idea of just how to create the right atmosphere for incoming students. Like, so if you're a middle school or high school and you're having incoming 6th graders or 8th graders, or incoming 6th graders or incoming 9th graders, how do you build upon that if we should start virtually? It's I think it's so important to become part of a community, part of a school culture. And how do you do that remotely? That's going to be a tough thing if this is the way we go. How do you keep them engaged? How do you build relationships when you haven't seen the person face to face? And I think yesterday, Ms. Udema talked about, it's so important to start face to face. And for that aspect, I agree 100%, but even more critical for those students that are coming in new to the school. I just can't imagine starting the year with just not even really knowing your teachers, only knowing them remotely. So that's the thing that worries me about incoming. Like I said, same thing for 6th graders and incoming. Like I said, my daughter's part of that 9th grade. I don't want her to have that experience with that. Like I said, today is just crazy because it's been so busy to try to think of a topic. But one thing that also came to mind today was, thinking about these incoming freshmen. And I've been at the high school level now for about total of about 6-7 years of my administrative experience, and then as a teacher for another 6, so for about over 10 years. And it's been my experience that we still have a lot of families that don't completely understand, even though that they have gone through high school. And for some of the non-English speaking or non that are maybe first generation here in this country, um, the parents don't fully understand how the the American school system works. Um, and it's so important because just getting a high school degree doesn't guarantee entrance to a university. Um, and I'm not sure everyone is aware of that. Um, and what I mean by that is, to enter to a state school, like for example, here in North Carolina, you have state schools like Elizabeth City State University. You have East Carolina, where I went to right here. Um, I went to Florida Atlantic University, so another state school, not here. NC State, University of Chapel Hill, UNC, UNC Wilmington. Anyways, a lot of these schools, Western Carolina, just because you graduate from a North Carolina high school doesn't mean you automatically get in. You still have to have quality classes, good grades. And I'm not sure sometimes we've done a good enough job for parents to fully understand how that plays into it. I'd love to hear what some of your schools do to that. I've been part of, when you have colleges come in and talk, or the counselors come and talk. Sometimes the hard thing is getting parents to come in and really getting them to see the value in these meetings. So I guess I'm just here, so pass this on to some of these parents. And I would say one of the first things that's really I always recommend is, you don't have to know exactly what you want to do, go into college when you're in high school. I think that's time for exploration and stuff. But if your child, or you have an idea of what your child wants to do, that really helps to have an idea of what your child wants to go into the medical field, into law enforcement, into, trying to think, criminal justice, whatever it may be. Having that idea already, and if you know that at a high school, to me, it helps keep the child focused and see and know what's at the end of the tunnel, and know that sometimes these classes, as I don't want to call them boring, but as just maybe not as fun as you wish they could be, do have meaning and do have value for the ultimate goal. So it's important. It helps when they have that that idea of what they want to do. Like I said, I don't know if I'm an example that I knew from very early on I wanted to do art, and all through even through elementary, middle school, and high school, I wanted to do art. I didn't know how to how to go about it. I know I was very good, but that helped me, just keep focused on what I wanted to do. And ultimately, I did the art thing for a little bit, tried to do it, and then eventually changed my focus to educating in art. So anyway, I started with one focus, but it led me to another, and that's perfectly fine. But I think that helped me. I know when I was in college and I was taking statistics or social science, I don't know what it has to do with my field in art, but the reality is I knew at the end of the day I had an art class, I had a printing class, I had a photography class. It helped me get through those days. And the same thing in high school, and I took science class, biology, whatever it is. I knew I always looked forward to those art classes. They were my favorite classes. And shout out to Miss Rudy, my favorite art teacher in the world. She's retired now in Palm Beach County. I owe a lot to her. It's stupid me when I was in high school. I took 3 years of art with Miss Rudy. There was another really good art teacher there at her school who taught other media, but I was so biased to Miss Rudy, and I would say loyal. But that when she did leave my senior year to go teach at another school, I said, I'm done. I'm not going to take art with that other teacher because it's whatever. I had my stupid reasons. Now I wish I would have, because I would have gotten experience from somebody else. But and then I also had the opportunity, once I started teaching, down in Palm Beach County to work a little bit with Miss Rudy again, as she was an instructor at the, I think it's Dreyfus School of the Arts in Palm Beach County, and I helped pretty much evaluate incoming eighth graders or incoming ninth graders to see if they qualify to get into the School of the Arts. So that was a great opportunity to work with her as an adult. So we still communicate. So Miss Rudy, if you're out there, I say, hey, thank you again for all that you did for me. But getting back to the courses, so once you have a focus and idea, it really helps. And if you can help gear your child towards that, that's awesome. Second is really looking at the type of courses they enroll in. I'll be honest, I took all standard courses. Nothing was honors. And that's fine. But again, because I did not know what I needed to go to college, my parents wanted to help, but didn't really know a whole lot of how to help. They just knew I had to do well and try to do my best. So, looking into helping your child, and if he or she can get into some honors courses, that would be awesome. That really, gives a lot of more weight, more rigor to the courses. So when universities take a look at these transcripts, they see, okay, these are challenging courses. Your son or daughter are doing well. They kind of, in a sense, didn't take the easy route. So honors courses, and depending on your school system, as a parent, you can, if your child has a pretty good track record of doing well in math, let's say, from middle school, you'll get A's and B's. You can ask and push to see if your child can get into some of these honors courses. So don't think just because they weren't recommended doesn't mean that it's completely, they can't get into these. Honors courses. So you can push for that. Later on, usually your junior, and now it's even as early as sophomore years, are called advanced placement AP courses by College Board. That's a great way to get college credit. Now these classes are a little harder. There is an exam at the end of. it is at the end of the semester, so but they have to get a certain grade in these tests to get college credit. And no, I'm not in a closet. I'm actually in my office. I do have about an hour travel to work, Mr. Navarro. Mr. Navarro, since you joined us, this is the coffee I'm drinking today. I don't know, you may know it. It's called Don Francisco's, and it's not the guy from Sao Gigante. But the guy is actually originally Cuban. But it is 100% Colombian. So I get it's a good mix. It's actually real good. I don't know if you have tried it. I don't know if you've tried this one before, if you drink coffee, but it's actually pretty good. Thanks to Joanna, my sponsor, for sending me that. I know I got to check up in a couple of weeks with the doctor. He's probably going to see spike levels. I don't know if they can see caffeine, but especially in the last couple months doing this, drinking a lot more coffee. Yeah, Viva Cuba. But yeah, getting back, I've been part of, having been in high school, going back to the middle school and being part of meetings with parents, where we bring in, department chairs to talk to the parents about the eighth graders coming in and what kind of courses they should be looking to take. And many times, after the counselors give their suggestions about classes, and then in some school districts now they have STEM, and that's a focus. And a lot of those STEM courses have honors credit. And some of the parents just hear like the latest thing, which is STEM, and they listen to the message from the STEM director and things like that, and then they leave, and think, but they don't hear about the other honors courses. They don't hear about the AP courses, and so that's a thing we need to try to shift. And I don't know if we definitely start that like earlier middle school kind of thing to really help parents understand really where they want to push your child. If it is the next level, collegiate level, what kind of courses they should be looking for their child to take. um, the other thing from courses, and realize that as your child, if they can take some high school courses in middle school, because nowadays they're offering many high school credit courses if they can. Then they start high school with 2-3 credits. Those 2-3 credits at the end, your child can start taking some college level courses like dual enrollment courses, and realize that in many places, hey, morning, Mr. Harrell, dual enrollment courses are pretty much free to the students as they continue to be enrolled in high school. So again, it's another way. So if a student comes into high school with 2-3 high school credits, that means on the back end, they'll be able to get possibly 2-3 college credits. You get close to 4 or 5 college credits. That's a whole semester with a college. And they may not be able to transfer per se if it's an English course to the college, but that there are elective courses that will take some of those credits. So your child could be entering college, whether, let's say, if they go to a community college like I did, once they enter community college, they're maybe already close to halfway done with their first semester or their first year. If your son or daughter are on the ball and really, taking advanced courses and be able to take some of those. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Yeah, my next evaluation asked for a bigger office. It's not a bad one, not a bad one. Okay, I do. Sorry. The problem is the camera shrinks the size of your office like by 20%. That's what it is. It makes my head look 10 pounds heavier. Maybe that's what it is. My head's covering the rest of my office, and my office looks smaller. But there's a whole nother side in front of me, behind you all. The office. I like it. But I'm right next to our guidance center here. So it really helps me work with the counselors directly, and I really enjoy that. As part of my job is counseling, I mean, like it or not. But getting back to the courses, so really looking at the courses for your kids, and also realize that just the courses that are offered at school, especially at just about any high school nowadays, are not the only courses your child can take. There is also distance learning, and they can get high school credit, or depending on where your child is, depending the year. No, it is not a full-size refrigerator. It is a mini refrigerator. But at least I have something here to cool off. It's pretty much empty right now, since we're pretty much summer bound in the next day or two, and we got to keep this closed. I'm trying to think. Since you're kind of making fun of my office, I do have this here actually, which is pretty cool. My wife found it. I continually get students ask me for this Coca-Cola bottle with my last name. I don't know where my wife found it, but it is probably at least 4 years old. Whenever the names and all this stuff came out with Coca-Cola. So, but anyways, but yeah, just getting back to yes, it's not a huge office. Yes, it's not a huge office. But I like it. I'm not a big man anyway, as it is, so I don't need a huge office. I don't have that big of an ego that I need a big office. So, but no, just the whole high school experience. Getting your child to really focus and really looking at classes. So my biggest thing to suggestion to parents is really come on in, talk to your child's counselor about, and especially again, if you have an idea, and you may not know the particular field you want your child to go into in college, if that's your goal, but say, like, for example, my parents did not know, they pretty much left it up to me what I wanted to do as far as what field in college, but they knew they wanted me to go to college. I don't get it. Sorry. What's what they say? So just rewrite that for me. But yes, my parents really didn't know but they knew they wanted me to go to college. So you talk to the counselor and say, my goal is for my child to go to college. I would like them to go to a four-year university straight out. Economics will play a part into it. Of course, going straight to a four-year university is going to be more costly, and depending the university compared to a community college. We probably, my parents and our family just couldn't afford straight for university unless I had a full ride scholarship, and that I wasn't getting that. So community college was a good route for me, and it worked out. I wouldn't change it for the world. So, but if you want your child to go to community college, ask about what is there. And I know even as a freshman, there's still time, but try to formulate a plan. These are the courses that roughly I want him or her to take freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and senior year. And then, it's possible if your child passes every class, by the time they get to their senior year, they may just need 2 or 3 classes to graduate. So that leaves probably 4 or 5 courses, open slots, where they can take college level courses. And again, that's when your child starts earning college credit. And again, those don't cost. If you think about typical college course, it's probably going to be somewhere between $270 to maybe $350, the cost of just the fee. Then you add books at probably another $50 to $80. So you're looking in the realm of about $400 to about $420 when it's all said and done for one class. So then you multiply that times, 4 classes to be considered a full-time student in college, and you're looking about somewhere between $1,200 to $1,600, including books for community college. And I shouldn't be that far off, but I know I'm sure I'm off. But that's money as a parent that you can save. But if your child's able to take 4 courses in high school for college, again, that's about closer around $1,500 that you can save towards college. So you got to think about that early on. Sometimes we get parents that it becomes their senior year and they want their kids to take, and there's nothing wrong. I mean, if you only get 1 college course out of the way or 2, that's great. That's, again, you're still ahead of the game. So just be mindful of that as far as those level courses. Now, for me, when I was in high school, I kind of knew I wanted to go to college, but it wasn't like my parents were always telling me, go to college, you got to go to college. But I just figured it was something that just happened. But it almost didn't happen. At least get started right after high school. So you got to be prepared. As a first generation, I won't say I wasn't first generation because my brother got to college. He was a couple of years ahead of me. Now he's 4 years older, but 2 years ahead of me. So I don't know what's wrong, what happened there, my brother. But he was ahead of me, and he got to college. And let's just say he didn't do so well. Mr. Navarro, you may know a little bit about that too, and you're probably part of that. But he didn't do so well. And so by the time I kind of got into college a couple of years later, he was pretty much out of college. So his experience probably didn't help me a whole lot. So it was navigating a lot of it on my own and with my parents' support, but trying to figure out financial aid and all that's kind of tough. So just thinking about that, parents, another option that can help you is if your district offers early college. Now I'm in a traditional high school, but that is another route to go to, and that definitely incorporates the community college into the high school. It is 5 years, but the way the system's set up is if you do pass everything you're supposed to do, I believe you finish with in 5 years, you finish with your high school diploma and a 2-year degree. And then you can jump into a state university because you met that 2-year requirement. So that's another avenue for some of you. Now, I don't know, we're already in almost middle of June, and most probably early colleges have closed out their enrollment for the fall. But if there's still time in your district, I would definitely encourage you to talk to the counselor, to the principals. Most of them are small schools, and see if there's any opportunity and inquire about that. I think that's another great opportunity. Traditionally, what I know about early colleges is once you start at a traditional high school, you can't jump into an early college. You can't make that transition. You can make the transition from early college back to traditional high school. So it's kind of thing where you have to start at the beginning in ninth grade. You can't enroll in early college, 10th, 11th, or something like that, or even middle ninth grade year. Um, so, anyways, today was a little bit of mix of everything, and I apologize um, today, but I'm going to kind of just focus. I've been a little whacked out, so this week I'm going to try to refocus and have topics for us to discuss and try to see if I can get some folks' um, perspective. So, anyways, with that being said, from my little office here at my school, I bid you all a farewell. I will see you all tomorrow. This is Educators Drinking Coffee and the Don Francisco's Coffee. You can actually search for it online. You can order it online, so it's good. So have a good day, and I will see you all tomorrow.